The UK government announced major immigration changes on 22nd of July, and the message is clear. The job market is tightening. With strict visa rules, employers are now being encouraged to prioritize the local talent over international hires. As part of this shift, the skilled worker visa occupation codes have been reclassified into three categories. The first is higher skill jobs at RQF level 6 or above. These roles remain fully eligible for skilled worker visas. Second, medium skill jobs below RQF level 6. You may still qualify for a visa until the end of 2026 if your role appears on the temporary shortage occupation list or immigration salary list. But note, dependents are no longer allowed under most of these roles. And the third is ineligible roles that are no longer eligible for skilled worker visa sponsorship. In my previous video, I gave a full demo of these changes, and many of you dropped excellent questions in the comment section. So thank you for that. I've gone through most of them and also replied. While I responded to many, I saved a few for today's guest, Amil from MAK25 Immigration, who can provide professional legal insight. If you have asked a question or want deeper clarity on the new skilled worker visa rules, stay with me till the end of this video. Let's get started by welcoming Amil. Hi, Amil. Welcome once again to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my new audience, please?
Hi Sarika, this is Mohammed Amil, owner and founder of MAK25 London, an ex-international student and a crazy immigration lawyer with this new immigration rule, understanding, navigating on how to, react to these changes and things like that. So yeah, all good to go.
Thank you for taking out time to record this video. I already have dozens and dozens of questions for you, but we'll try to cover as much as possible. I cannot make a very lengthy video. I did try
Definitely.
to explain to my audience in my previous video based on my understanding. However, I can still see there are many questions, and I
Yeah.
wanted to double check with you. Based on my understanding, I think I do understand some things very well, but I
Mhm.
need some input from you given that you are an expert. So, if you don't mind, maybe I'll go through one by one based on the questions my audience have sent to me already. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
shoot.
All right. Okay. So we all know that the UK government have categorized the now eligible job codes into three categories: higher skill, medium skill, and ineligible. It's very easy for anyone to understand ineligible. It's very easy to even understand higher. But I have seen the majority of the questions which I'm getting is around the medium skilled.
Correct.
So the common question which people have asked me is like, if their job, they think it is marked as medium.
Right.
However, they have noticed that job is not added either in temporary shortage occupation list or
Mhm.
immigration salary list. So the
Mhm.
question is, after 22nd of July, can anyone be granted visa if that job is marked as medium skilled or not? Like chef, it is marked as medium skilled, but it is not there in TSL or ISL. Can a new visa be granted under this job codes?
So let me break this answer in two parts, Sarika. Okay.
Mhm.
So first, what we need to understand that no new skilled worker visa can be granted for RQF level 3 to 5, like obviously chef and nursing auxiliaries and things like that. So using the job code on the immigration salary list and temporary shortage list, we can only use them if they are available on that specific list.
Mhm.
Coming back to the people who are already there in the UK pre-April 2024, or maybe their visa was granted between April 2024 to July 2025, they still are allowed to obviously extend, switch employers, apply for ILR in the legacy table, which is 1A, 2AA, and 3A. If they want to renew or they want to switch sponsors, they can definitely do that. But not new applicants are allowed to do that. For them, it's always table one.
Okay. So can you quickly just show us which 1A, 2A, and where do you refer exactly those tables so that I can provide those links to my audience?
I think there would be a lot of questions coming on that table. So
Oh, okay.
I think I'll start my salary
Okay.
navigator table, which I shared with our audience earlier. So Sarika, as you can see, we have already shared this table with our audience in the past so that they can navigate these tables very easily, because there are not now one table, there are 6 to 7 tables we have to analyze. So let's go. This is table number one, but what I'm talking about the legacy table, which is table 1A. This
Mm.
is the most important table, and this table is for the people who have been granted leave from April 2024 to July 2025. I mean 22nd July 2025. So one is for the table who are within the RQF level 3 to 5. So if they are looking to switch the sponsor, apply for the ILR, or maybe switch the SOC code, this is the table they have to look at. So this is table 1A.
Okay, and which
And
column from here? Because there are many columns. You see going rate at
exactly.
90%,
So they
80%.
just have to see the going rate. They just have
Okay.
to see the going rate because this is what they have been acquired and been eligible for. If you could see on the other columns, those are completely non-applicable for them. So
Okay.
let me show you the eligible table to AA.
Can I just ask you one question? So 70%, as I understand, that column is for new entrants, right?
Right. Yes, you're right. Exactly, you're right.
So if you're scrolling to chef, then if anybody is looking for a chef job in our example like ours, they have to look at the first column which says going rate and whatever is the salary. When they renew their visa, whether for applying for ILR or for extending their visa, they have to
Right.
look at what is the going rate and they have to meet that criteria, salary criteria.
Exactly. And now I'm talking about table 2AA. So 2AA is the table where people who have been granted permission before April 2024 under RQF level 3 to 5, this is the table they have to look at. So if we talk about chef, which is 5434, this is the column they have to look at, which is the going rate. So we have got 5434 chef.
Yeah.
So what we need to remember first is the going rate here is 25,000 pounds. So many people would make mistake and think that, okay, 25,000 is the one where we have to use this salary to extend for the ILR. But Home Office has changed the threshold from 29,000 pounds to 31,300 for people who have already got sponsorship before April 2024. So this is very important to understand the difference between a flow rate and the going rate. So the going rate here is 25,000 pound, but we have to look at the minimum eligibility for the ILR or extension, which is 31,300 for people before April 2024.
So in this example, they need to meet the salary criteria of 31,000 then rather than 25.
31,300.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so where is there not any table where they can see, okay, if I'm renewing my visa, this is the table, this is the going rate versus what is the criteria given by the government? Why there's so many tables to be referred? Why it can't be so simple? One table, put down, okay, table 1A is for you because your visa was granted before. Look at this table. This is what it is.
I think that is the reason why we planned and decided to make the salary navigator table because the Home Office has only given one table on the website and they have merged table 1 and table 2
Mm.
where they have given the standard rate and the lower going rate. They have not merged all the tables together. So we have to have these tables. Especially this is for immigration experts and professional who will be assessing the situation as per the dates and as per the roles and stuff like that. So I think this is the table where everybody needs to get accessible with.
Yeah. But again, you see, common people who are not legal experts like you, when they will look at it, they will think, okay, I need to get 25,000 pound. Yeah, because that is what the going rate says.
Yeah,
Nowhere it says, okay, look at this next column, which says,
yeah,
this is the new salary threshold and this is what you should be meeting. So
exactly.
25,000 is not, it's the new salary that you
Yeah,
mentioned.
31,300. You're right,
Correct.
exactly.
Correct.
So they have given all the bits and pieces of information and they are divided it into the official guidance what they release on 22nd July and obviously the statement of changes on 1st of July. So we have to merge and make our own notes and then present it to the audience.
Yeah. Just one thing. So what you mentioned, Amil, look at the going rate versus what is the minimum salary threshold,
Yeah,
right? You have to look
exactly.
at, and then whichever is higher, you got to meet that.
Yes,
Okay. Here, 31,300 is higher versus the going rate, which is lower, which is 25,000. You have to meet the higher salary threshold. Okay.
exactly. If
Awesome.
we see the example over here of, let's take any example for our audience. Okay. So let's say for our audience who have got a sponsorship under, let's say, skill metal and electrical engineer or supervisor, where the salary here is 36,500 pounds
Mhm.
and the flow rate is 31,300. So they need to choose 36,500 because that is higher as compared to the flow rate.
Okay, so you call that as floor rate. That is the
Yeah,
legal term. Floor rate versus the going rate. Floor rate
exactly.
is the salary threshold defined by the government for that year.
Yes,
Yeah, floor
yes,
rate versus the going rate. Okay, so in this case, this is higher. That's why you have to meet 36,500.
exactly.
Okay, good, great. Thanks, Amil. So coming back to our original question about medium skilled. So what
Mm,
I've understood, if a job is categorized as medium skilled and if
yes,
it's listed under immigration salary list or temporary shortage occupation list, there's no problem. You can get your new visa or you can renew your visa. However, if it is not if it's categorized as medium but not listed under either immigration salary list or temporary,
right.
you cannot get sponsored from 22nd of July.
Exactly. It needs to be there. That is really very important.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, Amil. I'm just moving to the next question. This question we have already covered because
Yeah.
I wanted to understand the example of a chef, looking at the table, which column to follow because it wasn't very clear, going rate versus the floor rate that you mentioned.
Yes. You're right.
Now, the majority of people are asking about
Mm-hmm.
how do we identify which jobs are RQF level 3, 4, 5, or 6 or not? Because on the table that government have updated, they have given temporary shortage occupation list, but people are guessing, maybe I guess based on the job title or based on the salary, whether it is RQF level 6 or not. But again, it's a guesswork. How can people be very sure which are the jobs RQF level 3, 4, 5, or 6? Do you have
For
any
the,
kind of table or guidelines from the government? Anywhere
yeah.
it is mentioned which people can look at?
So for the past few days, I myself am decoding this thing. But what I have come to realize that the video what you made couple of days back on medium skill, high skill, and the ineligible. So the job role which has been mentioned as medium skill, they are all RQF level 3. And
All
the job
are RQF.
are, yeah, most of them, yeah, all RQF level 3. And the job which has been categorized as high skill, those are all RQF level 6. So let's say I'll give you a small example. If you check all the IT job roles which are there on table number 1 for RQF level 6, all have been mentioned as high skill jobs. Whereas if you see all the legacy tables like 1A and 2A, what we discuss right now, all of those jobs are being mentioned as medium skill jobs. So I think that is the best way rather than, going or listening to somebody else. I think it's better to go on the government website and analyze it that way. Medium skill jobs are mostly RQF level 3 and all the high skill jobs are RQF level 6.
I'm surprised to know that because I did see some jobs like director in consulting, and the salary was the minimum salary or the going rate mentioned was around 70,000. If you are
Mhm.
expecting a salary of 70,000 and you are still categorizing that as a RQF level 3, I don't think that's correct, but that's my way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Then what is the point of government saying that any jobs which are categorized at medium or
Yeah.
which are in
Yeah.
temporary shortage occupation list, you can bring dependents if it is RQF level 6 and above. If there's no job which is tagged as RQF 6, then what is the point of saying that you can bring your dependents?
What one thing here you need to understand, let's say I'll give you a small example. I'm doing a license today, and it's a consulting firm, and somebody wants to apply as a sales director.
Mm,
Obviously, the salary threshold for that specific range is 75 plus.
mm,
But if you look at the legacy tables where they were sales executive, the
mm,
salary drops down to suddenly 35,000 pounds.
mm,
There's a huge difference between the salary gaps as well when we are talking about RQF level 3 to 5 and RQF level 6.
mm.
So the Home Office has clearly mentioned we do not need new people apart from who are there in the UK on transitional arrangement. Those are different things. But the new people, we do not want them on any kind of executive or consulting roles. They all need the marketing directors, managers, sales director managers, all those kinds of job, and the salary is like over the roof.
Hmm. Okay, so basically then any jobs which are listed under medium, it's all
Yeah.
less than RQ level 6 and
Yes.
people cannot bring their dependents. So not even data analyst. I have seen jobs like data analyst, which is quite
Yeah.
popular with people. Or
Yeah.
of course, construction, many construction jobs I have seen listed there. So
Right.
people
But
cannot bring their dependent at all.
exactly. Data analyst since the beginning, it was always RQF level 3.
Okay. Okay. So any other, I mean, do you see any exceptional in that table which qualifies for RQF level 6 from your review or knowledge?
I think I have seen few IT roles which I do not consider as RQF level 6, like IT project administrator and things like that. But still, 99% of the jobs which used to be there in the table before, they have retained everything in the new table as RQF level 6. So I'm quite surprised with that, that
I'm
none of IT jobs is categorized as like that.
Okay, no, I mean from the medium skill, because all those medium skills and temporary shortage list, the questions that mostly people are asking, because of course they have dependents, they want to bring their dependent, say people
Right.
are working as a data analyst, or they are say in consulting, or say even construction, because
Yeah.
there's no categorization mentioned in that
Yeah.
immigration shortage occupation list. People
Right.
don't know whether it's RQ level 6 or not, whether they can bring their dependent or not. So you're
Yeah.
saying all those jobs listed are less than RQ level 6. So basically, nobody can bring their dependent.
Yeah. And now how I'm navigating with my clients currently who are looking to do the new application, I'm looking at all the tables, the table one, ISL, TSL, and then the new link, what you just showed to your audience couple of days back on the medium scale. And this is how we are navigating. Okay, if you want this specific role, it is categorized into medium scale, you cannot get your dependents, period. That's it.
Okay.
So this is how I think this is the best way to navigate these things rather than, I know there are so many links and tables to look at, but this is how the government want us to navigate.
Yeah. Do you think government will provide guidelines later on or some kind of explanation? I mean, you guys all are representing legal bodies here. So you guys, do you have a platform where you can raise questions or ask more explanation or something like that?
I think what they release on 22nd of July 2025, the guidance,
Mm.
it suffices everything. So they have mentioned not the explanation, I would say, but in a better term, I
Mm.
would say, as compared to what was there in statement of changes.
Mm.
So I don't think so there would be anything new coming in apart from some consultations or maybe reviews over the job and the tables.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm looking from a common man's perspective.
Yeah.
I think they would. It would be helpful if when they publish the tables, if they can mention, especially now medium, when you have now temporary shortage occupation list, people understand it's temporary. You said RQF level 6, people can bring dependents, even though it's in temporary. Now you're saying if there is none of the jobs listed, there is none of the jobs listed are RQF level 6, then what is the point of making a rule by saying people can still bring dependents if it is RQF level 6? And when there are none of the jobs listed in the temporary list is basically matching that RQF level 6. So what is the point of that rule? That's what I don't.
One thing, Sarika, I'll tell you, they have made it very clear, even in the guidance and even in the statement of changes.
Mm.
Any job role in TSL, the dependents are completely not allowed. And all the roles they have in TSL are RQF level 3 to 5. So I think whenever somebody is coming to us as a client or maybe asking us question, I just tell them, yes, if your role is in TSL, completely no dependents allowed.
Okay.
We just look at the immigration salary list and the legacy
Yeah.
tables.
However, there's no impact to people who are already on a visa, whose visa was issued before 22nd of July. They can extend the visa, they can renew the visa, and if they had brought the dependent, they continue bringing the dependent, right? Say someone who was a chef before and was not married, and now suddenly, say, in few months' time, he got his plans for marriage, so he can still bring his dependent because his visa was issued before, and then of course in that he's allowed to bring dependent, so he can still bring his dependent, right?
100%.
Okay. Thank you, Amil. I'm going to move to the next question. So, yes, we all are talking about the rules that has changed on 22nd of July. Is there any kind of more rules you have noticed or you read that we are not talking about, say, that I did not cover in my videos, or you may have seen other immigration lawyers, they are not talking about? Is there something that we are missing?
It's not about the rule, but one thing I saw in the guidance that was very interesting. I don't know how much our audience would relate to that because most of your audience are international students and graduates.
Mm.
One thing the Home Office has made very clear in the guidance, where people used to ask a lot of us that what if I do not complete my course? Am I eligible to switch to skilled worker visa? Last night I was looking at it. Home Office has explicitly said in a sentence that even if you have not completed your course, not passed your course, I mean pass your course, you can still switch to skilled worker visa. The thing is that you have to complete the course for which you have been given a tier 4 student visa.
That-
So I think that is a very clear thing. I think they have been mentioned in the guidance as well.
Okay.
That was, yeah, really stressful for people.
Yeah. No, I think my audience, at least because I had covered this previously, so I think they do understand. But good that you have updated that. My understanding is also correct. Irrespective of a student pass or fail, but as long as they have completed the course, it means submitted their dissertation and then their end of their CAS is over. And if they happen to find a sponsored job, they can still get a sponsored job if possible, right? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Amil. I'll move to the next question. Again, I have completely copied this question from one of my subscriber audience who had listed their question in my last video, which is about switching of jobs, like changing the job code. So Vishesh is asking, I'm a data analyst paid above the going rate and minimum requirements. But what will happen if we switch roles, new job code? Will it be treated under the new application and with new rules or under the temporary shortage list?
So interesting thing, what he needs to understand that his role of data analyst has been switched from a legacy table to a temporary shortage list. As long as he remains under the same sponsor and SOC code, he will be suffice under the transitional arrangement. That wouldn't be a problem. But as soon as he thinks to switch a sponsor or SOC code, he will be treated under a new application. So what Vishesh is Vishesh, right? So what Vishesh needs to remember, if he's changing the sponsor and if he's changing the SOC code, then it would be treated as a new application under the new rule. And if he remains with the same sponsor, same SOC code, then he will be protected by the transitional arrangement. That's
Okay.
not going.
Thanks, Amel. I think he's saying he's switching his role. It means, say, Vishesh clearly mentioned that he's changing his job role.
Yeah.
Okay. But he did not mention whether he's changing his sponsor or not. So,
Yeah.
say he's changing his job code in the same company.
Okay.
So, will he be protected with the transitional arrangements or will it be a new rule?
So it depends what SOC code he's choosing. If he's choosing a new SOC code which is in TSL, so the new TSL rule would apply to him. If he's changing to RQF level 6, then he needs to see at table 1. So those are the two things what he need to remember. Because if as soon as you change your SOC code, it treats under the new application
So,
because a new POS has been assigned.
so it's new application basically, then all the rules from the new application.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So next question was from Vishnu, very similar, but he was asking about switching employer, like you already explained. So he was asking about switching employers, but keeping the same job code. Will it follow the new salary or the old salary? Because you said switching new employer, then you are saying it should be new app, new like a new rule, new application.
Right. Exactly.
But that's not
So I
right,
think
actually. I mean, if you look at he got a skilled visa before. He's keeping the same job code. Say he was a data scientist, yeah, and now he's becoming a data scientist or senior data scientist, maybe some other company. So he was already part of skilled visa before. He's keeping the same job code. He's just changing his employer. Why should he be treated as under the new rule? I don't know. I don't understand, but
because and one line, it is very important when you were talking about the exceptional thing. One thing we all have noticed and all the lawyers and solicitors have mentioned that there is no transitional arrangements for anyone as far as the salaries are concerned. You're getting my point. So whether you change your sponsor, whether you be with the same sponsor, whether you extend or renew it, your salary would be completely on a higher threshold. Not what is right now, 41,700, but obviously it has been increased from 29,000 to 31,300 for pre-April people, and from 31,000 to 33,400 for people between April 2024 to July 2025. The salaries would definitely increase for them. So there is no transitional arrangement for people who will be switching. So these are the things what everybody needs to remember. But coming back to Vishnu's question, I think he's one of the most safest guy, I would say, keeping the same employer and keeping the same SOC code. So let's say I don't know what was Vishnu's job code, but if he was between RQF level 3 to RQF level 5, he would be treated under table 1A. But it's RQF level 6, then it's the new table 1.
okay. I hope Vishnu is watching this video. Thanks, Amir. All righty, moving to now those people who are worried about new entrant rule. Yeah, so I have many students, who will be switching from student visa to skill visa or from a graduate visa to skill visa. So the question that I have for you is, I read it somewhere, I don't know whether it's correct or not. The increase in the skills threshold to RQF level 6 will apply to those switching from other routes, including from the graduate route. This is in line with the past practice and means we are treating applicants new to the route the same, whether they're applying from the UK or overseas. First of all, what does it mean? I don't know where I read, but I read it somewhere.
Okay, just to, suffice this information. So people are actually worried that, let's say if I'm switching from a graduate route to RQF level 6 job, which we only have at the moment, will I be getting the salary threshold discount or not? But definitely they would be getting it. And this is what, my post was about today as well. So you new entrants do not need to look at the salary, what is 41,700. They need to look at the salary for what they are eligible, and then they can calculate 30% discount on that, and they could get as less as below like 35,000 or 40,000 like that, because the flow rate for that is 33,400. So as long as you suffice that going rate and 33,400, you'll be all right. And other rules are exactly the same. It's just that the threshold has been increased for them, so they'll be fine.
Amil, another question on new entrant. I read it somewhere. I don't know how true it is. It says this new entrant route is only applicable for the occupations from immigration salary list. Is that true?
No, that's not true. The only confusion here is that the flow rate for immigration salary list and new entrant is exactly the same, which is 33,400 pounds.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Moving to my next question. Vinay is asking, should I look into lower going rate if I'm applying for ILR?
I think, yeah, it suffices whatever we discussed in the past. Let's say if Vinay is applying for ILR, obviously he needs to look at the lower going rate. So if you go on the government website, we see there are two columns, standard rate and the lower going rate. So people who are applying for the ILR, they need to look at the lower going rate for the salaries.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amil. I think my next question is also something similar to salary, and we have already discussed. Somebody had commented that all YouTubers are talking about the basic thing. They don't talk about this point. So I copy pasted the same question. It was about let's talk about the salary requirements for those extending after receiving this CUS after April 2024, with salary table to follow, and is there any transitional protection for them?
Yeah, there is a transitional protection from them, but as I said, not as far as the salaries are concerned. So if I don't know, somebody is asking about if the CAS was assigned between April 2024 to 21st July 2025, if it's at RQF level 6, then table number 1. If it's RQF level 3 to 5, it's table number 1A. But let's say if somebody have already got CAS assigned before April 2024, just for their knowledge, it is table 2AA.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, question from Rahul. Again, this is on new entrant visa extension. So the question is, what if someone has entered as new entrant, got this US in November 2024, and would have to extend their visa in December 2026? Will the rules when they receive the CUS be applicable for their case, or will this new be applicable for them and they would have to meet the higher salary threshold?
I think here what, as per my understanding is concerned, what Rahul is implying that obviously what's going to happen once he does his extension after the new entrant. So what everybody needs to understand, once you crosses the boundary of the new entrant, then obviously a new higher threshold would apply to you after the new entrant time have been passed. So here it's not clear what's the job role RQF level. So I think as we discuss in the tables, he need to look at the relevant table for himself.
Correct. Okay. Amil, thank you very much. I just have a tiny question to ask. I know because I want to keep everyone happy, which is very difficult. But Hussein, he did ask me something. He said his UK skilled worker visa under 3112 refused because he didn't satisfy them in the interview. So what happens next when people don't satisfy during the interview and all? What does the government say? The guidelines? What are the next steps?
Interesting. I'm just doing a case, similar case.
Hmm.
So one of my client, obviously they did not pass the interview. So and the reason was obviously because they were not able to satisfy the home office caseworker. So after this, there are few things which we can do. Okay, if the applicant Hussein thinks that the visa refusal was incorrect in terms of the caseworker did not understand the genuine vacancy, If there was anything not related to the job as far as the questions are concerned, then obviously they can file for administrative review, which is now taking more than 12 months,
Okay.
12, 15 months, I would say right now. So they have to think about it, because once you apply for administrative review, there are no other application what they can put forward.
Oh,
So they have to wait for 12 to 15 months within the country and wait for the decision. If
okay.
the decision comes in favor of the applicant, obviously they would be granted. If not, then they have to go back. Secondly, they need to understand that if there is a smallest thing they think that they are not eligible for this particular job, it was their own mistake, then it's better to leave the country.
Right, yeah. Okay. Amil, one question from me.
Yep.
Is there any new updates on dependent English language test or something? Is it changing already, or will it be announced later? Or what's the new rule from 22nd of July for dependents English language test?
Nothing as of now, because as the government has already said, it's been changed to A1 from nothing to A1. So we are still waiting for that. But I think two things are coming very soon, I would say, to your audience. First is uh, the curtailment of the graduate route from 24 months to 18 months. And secondly, the English language requirements for the dependents. I won't be surprised if it comes in September. So I think it's better if somebody wants to get the dependents, do it fast.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Amil, thank you very much for being patient and answering all the questions. I've tried to cover as much as possible based on the questions which were posted on my last video. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap today's video, please?
I think couple of things I would like to say, Sarika. I won't take much time, but there are so many people who have CSU has been assigned before 21st of July. So whenever they are doing the visa application or whoever assistance they are taking, they have to make sure that this is the last chance they have got to be in the legacy tables and to get ILR under those transitional arrangements. That's thing number one. So make sure everything is done right. Secondly, people who are there on temporary shortage lists, this is not going to be forever. Home Office has said in the guidance as well. I don't remember the page number, but I was just reading before this recording. This can be taken anytime. So it could be after 2 months as well if MAC advisory say that. So do not rely on the basis of just to get the sponsorship. I'll choose this role. If you want to be here for a longer term in terms of the opportunities, so go for RQF level 6.
Correct. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Amil. This was useful, and I hope this will also answer most of the questions that people were asking. Keep us updated what's happening next, if at all there are more guidelines. And thank you once again for coming and sharing your knowledge and expertise with my audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.